talking about Shashamane in Ethiopia, in the midst of the Rift Valley. This land is a gift from Jah to show his appreciation. He must stand against Muslims in the Italian invasion. Shashamane, we love Shashamane. Shashamane, Ulugize, Shashamane, peace of mind, Shashamane all the time. Yes. 250 kilometers south of Addis Ababa, connected by the King's Highway, all the way down to Kenya, Abiata, Shala, Langano are some of the places we love to go. The hot springs where they up for one door. Haile Selassie, I'm a Sagan, for Shashamane. We love Shashamane. Shashamane, Ulugize, Shashamane, peace of mind, Shashamane all the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. Come on, my brother, my Ethiopian brother, together we'll be strong, yes. We've got to try to learn to love one another. My African brother, my Jamaican brother, my this new millennium.
Have you heard of Shashamane? Just come with a Shasha and a face reality.
6:34 p.m. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening's segment of Black Professionals on a Mission. With me this evening is Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. She's waving. So for those of you who are viewing us live via islandblendradio.com, linkageradio.com, we welcome you. And she's looking gorgeous this evening, might I add. She's here, you know, she's just smiling. She's wagging a finger at me. What can I say? She's the host and producer of The Conduit Show at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday evenings on E2 On Air. She's a community activist and current president of the 501c3 nonprofit People of Black Heritage, and she's also the co-founder. And it's my pleasure to say welcome to you, Cher, this evening.
Thank you so much for that introduction there. And I want to say thank you to Linkage Radio and to my friend for having me as a guest on her show tonight.
There you go, Cher. I am so very pleased to have you here because we are on a mission this year for recognition. We want to acknowledge the people who are doing exceptionally well, and this platform called Inside the Zone is so honored to recognize you as my friend, as a media peer, somebody who, though humble but quite proactive, and you have been doing an exceptional job, and I think tears is about to come down, and that's all right too.
Wow, you made me blush, Lady D, because anyone who knows me knows that I'm really not the upfront person, though I'm loud and braggadocious. When it comes to acknowledging the work that I do, I tend to want to be in the background. So you really put me on the spot today, Lady D. What can I tell you?
Oh,
wow.
But it's important for us to recognize the people who are doing something within their community, within the world, because you make an impact. You are making connections, and it is benefiting people as we see it play out. Right. And so I'd like you to say hello to the audience, and we're just going to talk about you and what you have been doing. And, you know, people will just get a chance to say, oh, that's the English lady, because sometimes they refer to you as such, you know.
There are quite a few of us around us. This
yes,
is one of the
but this is one of, and her name is Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Black professional this evening, and she's indeed on a mission.
Well, I want to say to all of the listeners of Lady D's show Inside the Zone at Linkage Radio, good evening to you all as we celebrate Black History Month. And I just want to take time to put the spotlight back on Lady D for her excellent programming you can always learn something. The fact that I'm the subject of her show this evening gives me some kind of trepidation, but we're just going to have a conversation, because I think we're about inspiring others to do their small part in making a change.
Indeed. Now let's talk, Cher, because we have time on our hands, and I'd like you to share, starting from the beginning, because you were born in London.
Yes, ma'am.
And we know you love to speak the patois.
Absolutely.
But we know it don't come out the same way.
Really? And there was I thinking I'm a real yardie.
I know. But give us a little bit about your background, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. Well, I have my granddaughter in the studio with me. So if you hear a little voice, it's her trying to get in on the action.
Of course.
Okay. I was born in England, a child of the, let me not say, yeah, I'll say it, the 50s. What can I say? Yes, I'm an old head, but with a very young spirit. Raised by my grandparents, who instilled in me from their actions that you could never go through life without helping those around you. So I think I was nurtured in the spirit of giving. And that saying, that adage, to whom much is given, much is expected,
that's right,
is one of the mottos that I live by. And the second motto is that a blessing is not a blessing until it is passed on, until it is shared. So those are the two mottos. And third, let me tell you, is from my grandmother, Miss Brenda. What is for you cannot not be for you. So if you're out there and you're discouraged by what you're doing and you don't seem to be seeing results, let me tell you, don't give up, because you'd be surprised at the people who are looking at the work that you're doing and being inspired to do works of their own.
Thank you so much for that intro, Cher. Now, tell me, when you migrated here to the States back in 1996, there is something quite profound that you became a part of.
Yes, as the English girl, anyone who has any dealings with English people knows that they're very proactive when it comes to, well, some of them, and I guess I count myself as one of them, very proactive in standing up for rights and trying to change things that are wrong. So when I came to the US in 1996, my first brush with community activism came when in 2000 the MTA decided that they were going to do away with the number 5 line that runs to Dyer Avenue. I think it was part of a greater regeneration of the MTA transit system that also maybe had something to do with the number 2 subway line, which or the 7 line that they were trying to put in place. I realized the impact that that would have, and without any organization behind me, I took it upon myself to let the community of Williamsbridge know that this is what the MTA had planned. I printed up flyers, just a little number 5 train on a piece of paper saying, come to the community meeting to let MTA know that you're against their plan to scrap the number 5 going express from Dyer Avenue to 149th, which would have impacted all of the people on this side of the Northeast Bronx. As a result of that community activism, and in conjunction with the Strap Hangers organization, which is, I guess, a local organization that, apart from issuing reports about the worst line, also acts as community organizers to hold the feet of the MTA to the fire.
Right.
So they're the ones that will initiate protests at Fair Hike. So in conjunction with them, I actually attended some of the hearings that were held in Manhattan and actually brought a report from the community here as to why they shouldn't go ahead with this action. And I'm happy to say that they scrapped that plan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very proud that, you know, initiating something to let the community know that this was happening, and the community coming out and getting behind it and saying, no, we don't want this to happen. So, yeah.
All right. So in the beginning, I could say.
In the beginning.
Yes, in the beginning.
Yes.
Now tell me, whenever you speak, people listen.
Really?
And yes, they do, and they listen simply because, one, you are informed and you're able to pass on information, and that is because you have managed to infiltrate a lot of the different organizations and all that are around. You go to the forums, you inquire, you ask questions, and you take it back, and you create something out of it.
I think one of the biggest problems facing communities of color, Lady D, and you will find this too, is that information is key, but the key people are not getting the information. So in my small way, if I get some information, it's incumbent on me to share that information with the people around me, because knowledge is power. You become informed and you can change your circumstances.
That's right.
Whereas if you're in ignorance, you're just going
with the flow, just as it appears.
Exactly.
That's right. If you're just joining me, ladies and gentlemen, the show, and if you're joining me for the very first time, welcome to Linkage Radio 101.5 FM. I'm the host of the show called Inside the Zone. With me this evening is Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. She's host and producer of The Conduit Show, aired 6:30 p.m. on Sunday evenings on E2 Air. And this is a segment for Black History Month, and it's Black Professionals on a Mission. And so she has fallen in a timely manner in the segment. Now, Cher, this 501c3 nonprofit, People of Black Heritage, tell us about it, because you're also co-founder.
Right. Actually, People of Black Heritage was founded in, I think it was 2007. And coincidentally, it came into being when 4 women who coincidentally are all British came together and decided that we wanted to do something in our community. We wanted to make a change, and what we decided to do was make small changes by doing small acts. So the organization was founded in 2007, and it's been kind of in a period of lull at times, but I'm proud to say that we've accomplished some very good things. One of the things that we've accomplished is we identified a nursing home in Queens that we beautified their front garden. And the members just came together, we raised funds, we got bulbs and flowers and plants, and we actually changed the landscape of the front of the building. And all of the residents participated, and it was a great day out. I think People of Black Heritage is known, though, for its annual sickle cell walk,
right,
that takes place in October. And we wanted to highlight this disease that affects a certain segment of the community. People erroneously think that it only affects black people, but it's not true. It actually affects some Europeans, Africans, and people from the Mediterranean. It's a disease where the blood cells, they mutate, they sickle, and they cause a lot of pain when they try to pass through the blood vessels, the veins, because of their shape. So in a potted history, that's what sickle cell is. So People of Black Heritage, we have our signature walk that takes place every October, and we raise funds by asking people to participate and also to donate. For the past, let me see now, our past fundraising efforts were very, very successful in that we've been able to donate some, I think it's $1,000 to Columbia Presbyterian Hospital for their research in sickle cell. So it's a small organization, and we do small works, but I believe those small works will add up to make a difference.
Yes.
And that is the motto, making a difference in our community.
Now, before I ask you further questions about yourself, black professionals who they're trying to figure out, what can I become a part of? How do I get involved, like Sheron Hamilton-Pearson or Lady D or somebody else? What can you say to them?
Well, for me, the thing that people may not know about me is that I am a Christian. And trying to do that Christian walk, which it can be difficult. You may see me in the dance hall But hey, don't judge. That's all I would say. So I would say that I get involved in things as I'm led by the Spirit. I will talk about some of the other ventures that I'm involved in, and people will talk about coincidence, which I do not believe in coincidence. I believe that everything happens as it's designed to happen. But if you are a professional out there and you may read an article, that's how I get involved in a lot of projects. I may read an article and something in that article may catch my eye or my spirit. I will then investigate, because there are, you know, unfortunately, some charlatans out there who will try to exploit the good nature of others. So you have to be wise in your dealings. But if you investigate something and you realize that it's something good to be involved in, don't be shy.
Right.
Volunteer your services. Attend meetings, see what the organization is about, and then you decide, is this for me? You don't have to become a member, but donate something, your time, your effort, to that organization or to that cause.
Right.
You'd be surprised.
How could you direct young people who are trying to find their way?
Well, first of all, I think they have to be led by their passion. That's a good place to start. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about young children? Are you passionate about education? Are you passionate about the environment, the community in which you live? Then find organizations that deal with the passions that you have. That's a good place to start. Really. Because
recently I had a discussion and I was saying to my guest that, you know, I'm wondering, what will our young people become if they're not already trying to find that niche?
Well, of course, the other thing to do is when we have our children, in terms of succession,
right,
whatever our passions are, we should involve our children in those passions, because that's how they learn. Unfortunately, we don't do that.
Right.
I've been to so many functions where I look around and I think the children should be here, and they're sadly lacking.
Not
so
there.
we are at fault for I think our children floundering to some extent and not knowing what it is they want to do. We have to bring the children and involve the children in the things in which we're involved. And you have to involve them before they get to that age where they're like, I'm not coming, and there's nothing you can say. So you nurture them and you groom them from an early age, in the same way that we were taken to church, whether we wanted to or not. And then, you know, eventually you grow up, or I'm saying church because that's my background. But whatever it is that you were inculcated into as an early age, that sticks with you. You may go away from it, but eventually you come back. That's what I'm thinking.
That's right, and we're going to take a short break, 10 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock. My guest this evening, Sheron Hamilton-Pearson, and she is my black professional. Well-rounded woman she is, and I invite you, if you'd like to call in and ask her questions, she will be so able to answer your questions for you. Once again, our telephone numbers here, 914-662-6621, 914-662-6060, 914-600-4228. It's so appropriate at this time, at 10 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock, to take a break with something just like this for you.
Like me, you've struggled long. You've trod one of life's roughest roads, and with the heaviest load. To be someone to be on, but you're nearing your mile and a half furlong. Don't give up now, just pray for strength now. For you I dedicate my song. La 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 la. We are the same ones in the plantation, lashes to a skin. On auction blocks we were chained and cold, and of murder. that now. Free yourself of that now. And help me sing my song. La da 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 da.
My black woman this evening, Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. What can I say?
Wow, what an introduction. Of course, Sister Judy Mowat with that classical song.
Yes, and I know that you had the pleasure.
Yes, I had the pleasure
of interviewing her. Yes, did you not?
Yes,
Great interview it was. I mean, Pastor Glad came back raving reviews. I'm like, yes, that's Cher, because I got you down pat like that. I'm like, wow. You know, Cher is, you do your research and you ask questions, and it's just great.
Cher is Cher.
Cher is Cher. There you go. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the second Thursday feature of the show called Inside the Zone. I'm your host, Lady D, and it's my Black History Month segment. Black professionals, what can I say? Cher, tell us a little bit, because we're trying to get so much in.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about Fury, Family Unification and Resettlement Initiative.
Okay, Fury is an organization, as Lady D says, Family Unification and Resettlement Initiative, which actually deals with people who are deported to I was introduced to the founder of Fury, Carmen Alvarez, through a mutual friend. And when I heard about the sterling work that she was doing with limited resources, again, the Spirit led me. And I guess you could say I was running my mouth. And I said to Miss Carmita, oh, you have a computer lab in Jamaica with no computers? No worries. I'll get 10 computers for you.
Oh, yes.
And you know what? I said to myself, oh, my goodness, what did I just say? Anyway, for me, God doesn't bring you to something unless he knows how he's going to bring you through it.
There you go.
And I was inspired. I don't know. I just started calling. And the first person I called said, I'll give you $200. And so it went. I had a great connection with an organization that's sadly no longer going. And that was the organization in the South Bronx that refurbished computers. I can't remember the name now. It escapes me. But I was able to source, after getting funds from friends and family. I want to say big up to Erwin Clare, who also donated.
Right.
And to Angela Anderson, who made a great donation. I can't remember all the names now. I should have written them down. Because I always like to acknowledge other people. It's not just me. Behind me there's a great team of invisible people. So you see the end result in me, but trust me, it's not me alone. And I always like to acknowledge the unseen, the unknown, the little people that come behind me, on whose shoulders I stand.
There you go. We have a call, and I'll go to our telephone line this evening. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Welcome. I think this is Andre Porter.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Good evening, Miss Pearson.
Hello, Mr. Porter. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here, I swear to God, and everything that I love. My heart is racing so much, it's so fast right now. It's like unbelievable. Like, honestly, listening to you ladies, you know, and I hope the men, especially out there, are taking notes. Like Nanny, our first hero was Nanny, a woman who stood up for rights, you know. And here is Miss Pearson and Lady D, you know, who are two women in our community who are bringing the torch, you know, to educate and stimulate us and make things happen within the community that we need. And men, we need the men out there to start joining these organizations or attending these meetings, as the women are saying. And the women out there that are listening, here it is, you're listening to two powerful women that are doing powerful things in the community. So when you go home, you talk to your man, you talk to your husband or whoever you need to speak to, and invite them out to these meetings. And you lead as the woman and bring out the men to these meetings and start empowering the community. I applaud the efforts. I applaud the works.
Thank you,
Wow,
Andre.
you for your
Thank
kind
you.
words, Andre.
And coming from Andre,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know that he has his achievements down under his belt. So, Andre Porter, we thank you so much for, you know, really extending such commendations to our guest, Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. And as host of the show this evening, Inside the Zone, we are truly, truly thankful to you. Sheron?
Thank you for your kind words, Andre. Coming from you and the eloquence of your statement. Thank you so much for encouraging the men, especially because when you go to these organizations, just like church,
Yes.
the women outnumber the men.
Always.
But, thank you for
Always.
that exhortation there.
Mhm,
Let's hope they're listening and they hear.
Yes.
And you see, my granddaughter wants to get in on the act.
You're welcome, ladies. I'm going to go back to enjoying the show.
All right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Andre.
All right. You're welcome, ladies.
There you go.
So we were talking about Fury.
Yes.
So we were able to source the computers, and I think it was in 2010 or something. I'm really bad with dates. Fury saw fit to give me an award for the work. And what I was so happy about was that the majority of the people who made a donation were able to also attend the event, and I was able to recognize them. And the
Yes.
audience was able to see the face of just who was able to make that future
Happen.
lab
Mhm.
happen.
And isn't it that's great. Now you also have an initiative going on in Jamaica, Padmore Primary to be exact.
Wow. Padmore.
Yes.
Padmore.
Red Dirt Padmore.
Red Dirt Padmore in Red Hills. Now, of course, I'm not from Jamaica, but I thought Red Hills was, you know, where the Topanaris people live, right? Or Topanaris, as they say.
Right.
So I didn't realize that there were rural areas in Red Hills. And this area where Padmore Primary School is located is very rural area. I can't remember the name. You know what? You're going to hear this a lot. I can't remember, but I'm suffering from Alzheimer's. So, but there is a district way up in the hills. It's so far up. When you go up there, your ears pop. So that shows you the altitude that you're at. And I read a story. In the Observer about a teacher called Joy Smith, who was wheelchair bound but was teaching, and she was making an appeal for a motorized wheelchair. And I read the story and I'm like, wow. Anyway, I did some more research about Padmore, because initially I was gonna I actually looked into the motorized wheelchair, how much it would cost. But then I investigated more and I found out that Padmore has an extraordinary principal by the name of Keisha Hales, who single-handedly, you could say, has turned a failing school, one that was slated for closure. Just a minute. One that was slated for closure. She turned that school into a success, whereby it's now going from 25 students to almost at capacity of, I think, over 200 students, maybe more by now, because the last post I saw on Facebook, she's actually taking away a lot of students who were going to other schools to increase Padmore. Anyway, cut a long story short, I decided, after speaking with Principal Hales, that what the school needed was a new stove, a cooker, and a fridge. So again, the brilliant idea, not of mine, came to me. How can you do this? And you may have seen me with this blue water bottle. Wherever I went,
we know that.
the water bottle was my constant
went with you.
companion. And all I asked was for people to make a donation of $1. And I want to tell you that those dollars added up, and we were able to purchase the stove, first of all. We actually have $700 towards the fridge, and we're still, the campaign is still on GoFundMe. It's still ongoing. We did receive the final donation from the Alumni Association, the head one, which is the one that was headed formerly by Carleen Laghi, now headed by her sister, whose name escapes me. But we just need to finalize the arrangements so that we can get the fridge.
Okay.
Padmore is dear to my heart because I've actually been to the school, seen the children, and they did a wonderful presentation. So my support of Padmore continues. Why Padmore, you ask me? I don't know. That's the school that I was led to. But as I said, if people want to get involved, especially in Jamaica, there are so many projects that you can get involved in, and it's not about charity. It's just about reaching out, reaching back, and pulling forward.
Yes.
Really.
And I believe that all of us, I was having a devotion yesterday with a friend of mine, and I said to her that I believe that when the Creator when he was orchestrating who we are as human beings, he thought about it carefully, and he knew that each of us who are born on this earth, we have something within us. There is a potential that he created us with, and we just need to tap into it. Absolutely. And a lot of us have tapped into it, but fear, perhaps. You feel inadequate, perhaps. But there is something in this world that you are capable of doing, and doing it very well. Absolutely. And we need to not just, I tell people, I was not born just to eat, sleep, and die.
No, that's not living.
No,
that's
it's
existing.
It's not. And so I commend you this evening. We're wrapping up with your involvement in the math club, which is a passion of yours. I know that.
Wow, it seems like I do a lot of things, right?
You do a lot of things.
It's really,
you do a lot, but it doesn't appear that way to you.
Right. Well, when you actually sit down, someone says to you, write a bio, and you sit and you write about, because you don't normally do this. Yes. I mean, I just get on and do what I need to do. So the math club is another passion of mine, something I've been involved with for a while. And, did someone pull something out? Okay.
No, I think, good evening. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I am very good, and you?
Hey, Ed, we're fine. Welcome to, of course, our black professional, Sheron Hamilton-Pearson, this evening.
Hi, Ed.
I'm Miss Pierce. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am very good at this time.
Good. Glad to hear.
I heard you were talking about sickle cell.
Yes.
But is there what you'd call over-the-counter medication for it?
Not really. Well,
yes.
I've been listening to my standby programming, which is on another radio station, and interestingly, they were talking about cancer and healing from within, and a lot of the disease that afflicts our bodies, contrary to what some medical experts will tell you, they can be reversed outside of medication. So it's a controversial topic, and I'm not sure that this platform is the right time to get into that.
Right.
But I would say read and educate yourselves on the alternatives that are out there, and don't just take what's spoon-fed to you.
However, I know of a medication that a lot of people take it, and it helps a lot. I think it cures it in some instances. But what people must know, what you put at your mouth, you must know if it's good for you.
Absolutely.
But there's a whole under the counter, what they call it, unprescribed medication. You can get it without prescription. That is people with that problem.
And do you want to share what that is?
Family planning.
Family planning?
Yes, some of those tablets, yes, it helps with that problem. It helps that problem.
The contraceptive pill?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's another controversial topic right there.
Indeed.
But a lot of these things the doctors are going to tell people because they want to get money.
Okay.
That's the problem.
All right. Well, we thank you so
Okay.
much, for, as always, for your input.
Thank you so much, Ed, for
Okay.
listening and calling in.
All right. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eddie. He is certainly always very supportive of the programs that are here on our station, so we thank you. Now we're wrapping up, and Cher was telling us about the Math Club.
Right. So the Math Club is an organization that was founded by Jeff Blake, who is a reservist, who actually was coaching the Bronx Soccer League and realized that the children were not doing well in math. So basically, to cut a long story short, the Math Club is an organization that holds an annual competition in commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King. And that competition is held in January, on actually Martin Luther King Day, where schools from all over New York City, 6th, 7th and 8th graders participate in the competition, and they also learn about Dr. Martin Luther King, and they also get a chance to interact with students that they wouldn't normally interact with. So that's been going on for 11 years now. We just recently had our competition for 2015, and I think almost 200 students from New York City participated.
Oh.
The award ceremony is
Yes,
taking place on the 14th of March at Richard Green School, and we're hoping that the community will come out and support the children who are doing well, because this year the scores for the competition are the highest they've been in the history of the 11 years that the Math Club has been in existence.
Ah,
And it's also a way of teaching children, black children, to not be afraid of math, to embrace it and excel. Because what's happening is the United States is behind
Oh, indeed, they
in
are.
terms of their math
Yes.
assimilation and understanding, and especially with this new way of teaching, the core curriculum that's in schools at the moment, that's causing some controversy.
Yes, and well, yes, I heard recently a parent had said, you know, when she's trying to assist her child with
It's very difficult.
homework, she is like, you know,
Core competence.
yes,
is what it's
yes,
So
and she's not managing well
Right,
with it.
right.
But Cher, I tell you, I'm sure our audience here at Linkage Radio, and of course with Island Blend Radio and Touch FM Radio 105.7, I'm sure they are so enlightened this evening. They have heard you. You are a radio host. You have written your, well, I could say you're a journalist in your own right.
No, writer.
You're a writer. Well, we'll take that and run with it just the same. But let's go to the line and see if we have a caller here. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Lady G and Miss Shar. Good evening to you.
Good evening. I think this is Betty B. Hey, Bet.
Hi, Z. You know my
that
voice. I
voice.
don't
I
really
know
know it
that
that much.
Hi, Betty. How are you, Betty love?
I'm fine. You know, from the moment I see the post, you know, if it's even 1 minute, I have to call for.
I know.
Thank you for the support.
Yes.
You're welcome. And I heard when you were speaking about the math curriculum. Yes, indeed. I don't know why we are so afraid of math, but I want to tell you that I am not afraid of it anymore because I passed it.
Oh, go Bet. Man, I wish I had a tambourine right here, so now. Ching-a-ling-ling.
Let's say brah, brah, brah.
Yes. We can perhaps use this forum just to say big up. In a stush way, we can say big up.
Kudos to
So,
you,
Miss
Betty.
Shar,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to congratulate you on all the stuff that you're involved in to help the children to think better. And Lady D just sit down there and she just taking her little time to do the best that she can do in radio.
And
Yes,
she's doing a great job. A lot of people are
she's
actually
doing an excellent job.
looking at her and emulating her because her program is ever informative. I'm the scatty one. Lady D is the sensible one. Her show is put together, and you will always learn something from listening to Lady D inside the zone.
Yes, there you go. Thank you so much,
And that's
Bet.
all life should be, you know, whenever you step out there through your door, whenever you speak, someone should have learned something from you, or you learn something from someone.
Yes.
Indeed.
So on that note, I'm not going to stay too long. It's been a while. Don't touch base. So good evening to all the listeners of Linkage Radio and to yourselves. And be safe. Take care of each other.
All right. Thank you so much, Bet.
Take care, Bet.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, my black professional on a mission this evening, Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. She's smiling whenever I say that, because I have to create a tag that just mirrors who my guest will be. It just can't be something Black history, and I'm like, no man, black professionals on a mission.
Wow.
And for those of you who have simply sat down and said, what can I do? How can I become a part of? There's so many organizations out there, they're just desperate for volunteers.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we are already doing what we do, and sometimes we cross over and try to be a part and to collaborate and all of that, because it's who we are.
Absolutely, but I think find your passion and then direct your work, your assistance, your volunteerism in line with your passion. That's a very good way to start.
There you go. And Sheron Hamilton-Pearson is indeed a dynamic woman. What can I say?
Wow.
What a way to wrap up the segment this evening. Black professionals on a mission. This evening I featured Sheron Hamilton-Pearson, host and producer of the Conduit Show, Sunday evenings at 6:30 p.m. on E2 On Air. She's a community activist and current president of the 501c3 nonprofit People of Black Heritage and co-founder. It has been my pleasure, Cher.
Thank you so much, Lady D, and to the listeners of Inside the Zone and Linkage Radio, and to the co-sponsors, and as my granddaughter is telling me, she needs to go potty. So on that note, people, I keep it real. God bless you, Lady D. We will talk.
All right, this is how we wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. That's the voice of Marcia Griffith, Stepping Out of Babylon. What a great segment we had with Sheron Hamilton-Pearson. 18 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, right here on the show called Inside the Zone. I'm your host, Lady D. This is Linkage Radio 101.5 FM, reminding you we bring you the best in roots rock, reggae, R&B, disco, gospel, calypso, and a host of other selections aired right here on your budding and buzzing station. This coming Saturday, February 14th. If you have someone to take out for Valentine's Day and you have no venue in mind, you're wondering, where am I gonna go? I have not yet made reservations, or I called a particular restaurant and they are booked to capacity. They just can't accommodate me and my girl or me and my guy. Well, guess what? Why don't you call Country Kitchen, Pelham Manor, in the BJ Shopping Center, 914-633-5000, and just say, guess what? I heard Lady D talking about how much I can. Just come on over and dine. And I tell you, you won't regret it. You will not regret it. Jeff and his team, they're working very hard over there in preparations for this coming Valentine's Day weekend. So I invite you to give them a call, 914-633-5000. That's 914-633-5000. And if you are in the mood to just get your mind all geared up and ready to go to do something, or to think about someone, well, this is how I'm kicking off my segment here for Valentine's Day. And I'd just like to let you know before I do that, that coming up at 7:30 p.m. is my Health Zone feature with Dr. Monica Martin. But there's a twist this evening, because this evening I'm also featuring Dr. Martin in her capacity as a practicing gynecologist, surgeon, and acupuncturist in New York City. And she's also a graduate of Arden High School in Jamaica. And she is the recipient of the Reader's Digest Fellowship Award for the study of tropical medicine. At 7:30, you're going to learn so much more about Dr. Monica Martin, and she will also be my black professional on a mission. So if you'd like to sit back, relax right about now, enjoy some great music just for you. Valentine's Day is coming. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. You got my head